Welcome to another episode of the Babbling Heads podcast. The Babbling Heads podcast. It was a bit too fast. My name is Perspeftif. I go by the name of Perspeftif. To my right, we've got Shaq.
So
And across from me, we've got DJ Fingaz, aka Nantal. It should be Nantal, aka DJ Fingaz, because your mother didn't give you the name DJ Fingaz. But yeah.
check here before we do anything else. Can I just say we recorded 2 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
That's why we're wearing the same clothes. When you know check, you know what I'm saying?
Die jongens was
Shall clear out the for 2 weeks al.
Ja, die mense stink joh.
kanker.
Ja, sour yellow bly. Anyway, so today, on this episode, yeah, this dude is amazing. Like, I'm gonna stop lying, man. He's not actually amazing.
Thank you.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he's must be incredible. No, this dude, he probably has had his hand in a lot of pies, cakes, cookie jars. That doesn't sound right now. But
Doesn't it?
yeah, like he's produced for a number of highly dope artists, names that people know. It's on the tongues, like your Chad Simons, your Baron Clarks, your Kino Lee Hectors. He mixed the project for myself as well when I came out with a mixtape a couple of years ago. Seems like ages ago. I feel old now. Yeah. He's a master mix engineer. He's a mastering engineer as well, by my standards. He's a dope producer, good songwriter. He's worked on movies as well, scored movies. I'm sure you've won awards by now as well.
Nominated, yeah. I don't think I
You've
won.
nominated. Well, you've been nominated. Not a lot of people get nominated.
Yeah.
He's from the old school. He used to rhyme also back in the day.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, we've got the one and only Ibrahim Malam, aka Ibi.
What's the way?
Mr. Marlon.
Mr. Malam, yeah, aka actually Mr. Malam.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Welcome.
How are you
Thank you
doing?
for having me. Hey?
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
After that introduction, yeah, no, we doing fine. We're doing fine.
Good.
But this podcast is not about us.
Oh,
It's not about us. It's about you. Yeah. What has Ibi been doing of late? What have you been doing?
what I've always been doing, just producing, trying to do as much as I can, and also being a daddy. But yeah, just producing, working, pushing.
I think we all at that age now. We're just getting like this timers now on
Yes,
here.
sir.
No? Like everybody's got lighties and stuff. Like the younger audience gonna ask, like, nah, where's the low of this and the low of that? Like, but yeah,
Yeah.
you've become a daddy now. How does that impact on your workload?
It was an adjustment, eh? Like when I had my boy, it was an adjustment. A lot of my work fell behind because I needed to find time between sleeping, looking after my kids, or looking after my boy at the time, and finishing my work.
Because
I had a lot of unhappy clients, but I did the best that I could do.
Because I
Yeah,
know
I mean, I think
you're
I found the
busy. You're
balance now.
busy. You're quite busy.
I am, yeah. I am. I sometimes think I'm too busy for my own good, but because I don't find time to do everything that I'm supposed to be doing, which is not a good thing. Yeah.
Look, I've given you now that introduction, but there's a lot of people that maybe don't know like you from a bar of soap. They maybe also don't know the productions that you've made for Chad Simon and the like. Can you just give us just a quick overview, like where did it start for you? Who is Ibrahim Malam?
Okay. Okay. I started. Do you want me to go like all the way back?
Yep.
Like
All the
where
way
it
back.
started for me?
Yeah.
And
When I was 2
Yeah,
years
now,
old.
yeah, now you have to give that sad stories also,
Yeah, I know.
like deep. We need that deep side.
Laat sy sankloop.
Yeah. My sad story is I always wanted a lion toy, but my dad never bought me one.
Oh,
That's my sad story.
sad.
Thunder, 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 cats.
There we go. Lionel, I wanted you. But okay, so yeah, look, I've always been into sort of liking music, breaking down music as a kid. I always fantasized. I was probably like sub A or sub B, and my dad used to play music, and he used to play Axel F.
Okay.
And when I heard that music, I was like, wow, I'm gonna be sitting in front of my classroom, with all these synthesizers and playing this music, and it looks so cool. So I always fantasized about making music one day. And yeah, it really just started for me when I got a drum machine, a TR-707, and a small little keyboard. And my dad had a four-track recorder, like the reel-to-reel.
Yes.
Yeah, and started making beats on that.
Okay.
Started a rap group, as I told you.
Yep.
Name? What was the name?
Oh no, we don't want to know names.
No, we need to know
No. Okay. This was back in, I think it was
1988.
it was 1990.
Okay. I was in
When we started our first rap group. It was actually, we used to make beats on a girl's keyboard. She was the only one who had a keyboard, and we were like, wow, this thing makes beats. Used to play the beat. We had a tape deck with a microphone on it.
Yeah.
So we'd play the thing. We used to record on the tape. We called ourselves the Devastators.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And then as time went on, we then called ourselves the Lords. It was an acronym.
Oh,
Lords of Real Dope Sound. That was 1992.
Oh, Lords of Real Dope Sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Not Lords of the Underground.
And then from there, we changed it to Noise Level. Then we expanded on the group. It was myself, my brother, two other friends, and you remember Red Angel?
Yes.
Jerome?
Yeah.
He was also part. He used to be the ragamuffin in the group and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there, I finished school. We used to perform at school. Finished school and got a job to buy equipment. Started buying equipment. Got a PC and stuff. Started making music on computer using MIDI Orchestrator Plus.
Is that
a lot of people don't know that.
No, is that old? And I don't even know it. That was before I got into
It's
beat
old.
making.
It was just MIDI, and I thought, cool. I got MIDI. I got 128 instruments. That's all I'll ever need in life. And I used to even badmouth people. Not badmouth, but like used to hate on people with like big studios being like, you don't need that, man. You don't need that. All you need is MIDI Orchestrator Plus. That's all you need. And a mouse. Click, click, click. Anyway, boy, was I wrong. I apologize to all those people. And yeah, that's when I started to make music. Then I went to go and study a sound engineering course in Durbanville. It was a place called The Studio.
Yep, that's where I also went.
Yeah.
But after you. Way after
Of
you.
course. I'm an OG.
Yep, you are.
Rank.
And then because I actually, the reason why I did the course was because I wanted to work for a radio station doing their, recordings and things and their sounds and things. Once I finished the course, I decided not to do that, just to start my own studio. And I started making beats and so on the computers. And so, how did things take off? I'm just trying to think. My friend Terence Roder was a DJ we used to DJ on Diggy Bong show on Kurup FM at the time.
Okay.
And he used to have the slot called the TNT mix or something. It used to be he, Thurston, and DJ Willie.
Yeah.
So I met up with Terence, and Terence gave me acapellas, and then I made my own beats to it. And then he played it to Diggy, and Diggy went crazy for it. And he was like, we need to get the thing. So it became a feature on there where I would do a remix every week.
And Diggy was a big fan of yours, like for the longest time. He's being a big fan of yours.
Look, he was the person to give me my first interview. He was he was the first person to say my name on radio. I was like, whoa, I made it in life. Again, boy, was I wrong. But okay. So from there, Tally Peterson heard one of the remixes I did, and then he wanted to meet up with me to do remixes of the District 6 songs.
Okay.
We went back and forth with that. I got busy with some other projects, so that one kind of fell through. Then someone at a place that I was working at, he brought a newspaper clipping and he said that Mama Dance Records, they're looking for producers for their artists.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, cool. Contacted the guy, Craig.
Damster.
No, Damster.
Oh, no.
Craig McGahey.
Oh yes, Damster had. He also had some label also.
Yeah, Mother City
Mother
Records.
City. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the confusion.
And then I called Craig, and he's like, "Yeah, cool, come." We had a meeting, listened to the stuff, the remixes that I did, and he was happy. And then he put me on KB,
Oh,
remember Good Life, all that stuff.
Yes.
So I produced a remix on her EP, and then I produced a number of songs on Jerusha's album. So that was the first thing. My name was on a CD. I was like, I made it in life. Boy, was I wrong. Then. And he kind of took me through the ropes of how publishing works and all these things, you know. And this was back in 2001, 2002, somewhere down there. From there, I did a number of things for Mama Dance.
Okay.
Yeah. And through Mama Dance, also, I got to work with Eclipse.
Yes.
Because Eclipse came to Mama Dance to say, you know, he wants to do some music and stuff. And then they say, okay, we'll work with Ibrahim. And then we work together. From there, this is coming close to where I met you. Okay. From there, sorry, I know this is a long
No,
story.
it's
We're just
fine,
going through the
it's
whole
fine.
thing. From there, I met up with a guy called George. He wanted to record some stuff. And then he put together this group. No, I'm lying. There was this other girl group. MCJ. Red Angel. He used to call himself MCJ. Sorry, I still call him that. Red Angel. When his sister wanted to sing, so she wrote a song and she came to me to ask if I would record it. And then she said she wanted to get a other friend in, which was Haley. And then they wrote the song. We changed the song up a bit and so. And this was the first song that I actually produced from scratch, like a complete song.
Not the
Not a remix.
Not a remix.
Yeah, because I used to just make beats. I never really used to record anyone. So I recorded them, and I used the Shure SM58 microphone still at the time in my bedroom at my mom's place. I recorded the song, finished it, gave it to Diggy Bongs. He played it, and then he got it playlisted on Good FM.
Okay.
My first song playlisted on Good FM. I was like, damn, I'm not going to say that thing again.
I made it.
Yeah, I made it. What was it on?
Okay, but
Yeah, and from there, people then heard the stuff and they phoned Diggy to ask who produced that, and that's when it started. People started coming for me to work, and then of course through Haley then joined what was this thing? Prompt.
yeah, it was
Something like that. Yeah.
music technology school, and that's where I met her. And then,
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that's where you came. That's how I met you. And so,
Yeah.
anyway, that went on for a while, and then came Chad Simon. I actually knew him. Not knew him, but I knew he was in my cousin's class at school while I was still at school. So I was in matric. He was in Standard 6, I think. Oh, grade 8. I was in grade 12. Sorry,
Yeah.
we're living in new times. I'm that old.
Yeah,
So
you are.
so yeah, and then he was on Idols, and I saw him on the Tempo ad, and so and I spoke to my cousin, and I said, you know, if this was before any social media, so
Yeah.
so I said, no, speak to Chad, you know, if he wants to work on some stuff, let's work on some stuff. This was after Idols now,
Yeah.
and he was interested in so, but then of course, you know, we all get busy and went our separate ways again. So it
Yeah.
was 2006 that that when I got onto Facebook and all of these things, you know, so I was like, hey, Facebook, and I saw Chad, add him as a friend, and then we started chatting and said, let's talk about doing it. And Chad came. He was busy recording an album in I think it's in Maitland or something like that. There was some reggae guys or something like that, and he had some songs that was pretty decent songs. And I asked him if that's what he wants to do, and he said he wanted to do more the R&B pop stuff.
Okay.
So then we produced Moving On, sent that to radio, and it took off in a big way for him. And then we decided to do the whole album. That's where I came up with the whole idea of let's start a record label.
Stereotype.
Stereotype, yeah. Before it was called that.
Yeah.
So the whole idea was basically going to be, I'm going to be the producer. Chad has a book full of songs. One of the problems we had with artists that time is that no one could really write songs. They wanted to record, but it always delayed the process because they would come with a verse and then we could never finish songs.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, cool.
And he had completed songs.
You have a book of completed songs. And he's like, cool. And he writes songs quick. So I was like, okay, cool. You write songs for the artists. We identify the talent. We get the artists in. We write for them, produce, get them out. He then brought his brother on board and Lester Hine to do the marketing. And so that's when we started Stereotype Records. And Chad's album would be the guinea pig, basically, which did well. Got Sama nominated as well. Yeah. After that, we got Biden Clark on. We did his album. Was also Sama nominated. Then Lloyd Jansen did an album, and then Keno Lee's album came out. Keno, he did his album on his own, but I think later released it through Stereotype Records. I stand corrected on that. I think that's how it happened. Yeah, and it's just I'm a blank from there, to be honest with you.
And then from there onwards, you've basically become busy.
Oh well, from there, then I left Stereotype Records.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to to be honest with you, I was going to leave the music industry. I wanted to stop music. It was just taking too much of my time. I was getting tired of it and so on. And I was like, guys, you know what? I'm going to leave. There was no hard feelings.
But up until that time, it consumed like how many of your years already at that point?
Well, as I said, I started with 2006. It went up to, it was 4 years. Okay. So it was 4 years of me putting in work, doing albums and so, and not really seeing anything coming my way, you know what I mean? Because everything was still kind of like, we're still building it and so. So I felt that I was putting in a lot of work and not seeing any outcome or any
gain.
Any gain. There we go. So I was going to give it up, you know, because I mean, I had a job and so I was happy and so, and this was just making me tired. So I thought I'm going to quit. And then I told the guys at Stereotype Records, I was like, okay, cool, if that's my decision. And then I did kind of quit, like maybe for a week or so.
The shortest quit in music history.
Yeah. And then I got approached by Neil Naidu.
Yeah.
Silverado Entertainment, who was managing Amin Haran at the time.
Yeah.
And they were like, I heard you left Stereotype Records. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we would like you to come on board with us. We manage producers. And I thought that will be cool. Instead of me being a producer trying to manage an artist, let someone manage me so they can bring work.
Yeah.
And through that, I got to work with Gang of Instrumentals.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah. I did a remix for Danny Kaye.
Yes.
There were quite a few things that I worked on through them. There was Young Nations. So I did a song with Young Nations. What's his name? I forget their names. Who featured on the song? Proverb and I think it was Proverb.
Was Drastic on the? I can't remember.
So I did a few songs for Young Nations. What then? Then from there, one of the members of Freshly Ground wanted to work with me on a project for Larry Joe.
Yes.
Yeah, because he left Freshly Ground and was starting his own thing.
Yeah.
So then he contacted Neil. Neil contacted me, myself and Aaron from Freshly Ground. We met. We started the production and he was happy with what I was doing. And then he told me, why don't I quit my day job and start doing music full time and the two of us start something? And I jumped off the cliff. I did it, you know, and I said, fine, I'm going to quit my day job.
What was your day job?
I did store design for the music stores and the click stores. So we would do layouts if they're going to build new stores, like where artwork goes, plug points, light points, stuff like that.
Okay.
Nothing to do with music. So yeah, then I quit my job and we started a studio out in Newlands, where we then worked on a few projects where we made library music for some labels. We worked on some projects where we produced Hot Water's third album, I think, or fourth album, I can't remember. So we produced the entire album, and through that also, I mean, I made a lot of contacts, and so met a lot of people who then also started working with me, and through that is where I did my first scoring project for a documentary called 1994. It was a documentary about apartheid and the whole build up to the 1994 elections and Mandela being released and all of that. So it was that, which was cool. And later on, I then left that, did my own thing again, took my studio back to my new house, and been working there ever since. And then still continued to work with the stereotype people, like the Chads and the Kinos and any other new artists that would come that would come out there. I also worked with Loiso during that time. Loiso Bala, yes. I'm umming a lot, eh?
And
then of course, and then I approached Jared Ricketts.
That's what I was going to touch on now.
Yeah. I remember Jared released a song in 2010 or 2 songs in 2010, and it was quite cool. But I just never heard of him after that, you know? And I contacted him on social media, and I'm like, what are you up to?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, he's performing here and there. He's going overseas to perform there. And so, and he was actually thinking of quitting the music industry at the time.
Doing covers overseas. Obviously,
The cover thing, like doing Spain and all those places. And then he was actually thinking of quitting the recording scene and just maybe performing here, but maybe getting back into his graphic design thing and getting a job. So then I asked him, let's meet up. And so I told him, look, let's give us one more go.
Yeah.
Okay? We've never worked together before. Let's give us one more go. Let's produce an album. We went off saying we're going to do an album, but starting with 1 or 2 songs to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Then I said, because Jared produces as well. The first 2 singles he basically produced himself, and it was co-produced by Monique Galant.
Yes.
And it was recorded, mixed, mastered, everything there. But most of the production and the pre-production, Jared did himself on Fruity Loops. So when he came, I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to produce a song, but I want you to just focus on the writing and just leave all production to me. Like, I want you to trust me on this.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, cool, let's do that. And then we did New Life, and we released New Life. New Life went big, and Jared was again on people's lips. People were talking about Jared.
Yeah.
And then soon after that, we released Take Me to Your Heart, which then also kind of went big. And then we finished the album, and the album went out, was also Sama nominated. And yeah, so now we're also working together on other projects where we write for other artists, write and produce.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like a full circle where I started with Chad.
Yes,
He writes for people and stuff like that. But yeah, it's now with Jared. And I'm just busy. I'm still busy with some I did a movie. I scored I would say, a movie. I think there were a few ads that I did, and a TV series that I'm busy with as well.
Oh, okay.
It's in the works basically, but it's not something that's definite. So it's like a project where it's like, we're going to do this. I'm going to do the music to it. It's going to be a movie pilot and then a series, and that's if it gets picked up, of course.
Yeah.
But I decided to invest in that to kind of like, because if it takes off, it could be something good.
Okay.
Sorry, that was long.
No. That was extensive. You know what surprises me of you is your ability to be a chameleon when it comes to the soundscape you have to create. I never took you, besides the fact that you told me, and this wasn't when we met. Because when we met, I just thought like, okay, he's a English friend, makes the records, makes beats, blah blah. But I went to you to ask them to mix and master the mixtape, and so I didn't take you as like this big hip hop nerd, so to say, you know. And then afterwards came to realize, okay, you were in that. You did the rhyming thing as well. You love hip hop music.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was like, nah, he's just this R&B producer, blah, blah, blah. And now, years later, I started to realize that you're such a chameleon because you can literally create the soundscapes that is needed for that artist. Like take Jared's album, for instance. I messaged you and I told you, like, I'm like these songs sound like they come from the 80s. Like there's
Yeah.
an 80s influence and then there's a 70s influence. And like you could easily put Jared in that time period and it won't sound out of place. Not a lot of producers can do that.
Well, thank you.
What do you do you credit for having that? Is it like just the amount of music you've listened to, your ear? What is it?
Look, as I said, I've always been dissecting music since, again, it's gonna sound so cliched, but since I can remember. So when my dad would play music, I would break down the bass, I would break down the vocals and stuff, like vocal harmonies too. I can't remember, I can't think where I learned how to break down harmonies and stuff. So yeah, I think also I just love a whole lot of like a variety of different styles of music, and so
Yeah.
ever since a child, so it crosses over from R&B, hip hop to pop to folk, alternative rock,
Yeah.
everything, just everything. Not jazz so much though. I'm not a jazz guy. And when I say jazz, I mean like Cape Town kind of jazz.
Okay.
I love like big band jazz kind of
Okay,
stuff
okay,
like
okay.
that. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, was your father not playing jazz?
No. My dad look. I grew up on ABBA, Bee Gees, Boney M. Not the Christmas stuff. Okay, the Christmas stuff too, but
Yeah.
not the Christmas stuff. Like more like your
Yes.
your commercial stuff, I would say.
The secular stuff.
There we
so,
go.
Yeah.
And like Jimi Hendrix and all those
Yeah.
things. Black Sabbath and all those things.
I think then we've basically had like the same influences from
Yeah.
our fathers, because like for me as well, it was like his record collection was mainly folk, rock music.
Yeah.
There were the Motown ones slid in there. That was more my uncle, my mother's brother. I would
Yeah.
like get that from that side. But my father's was mainly like you mentioned Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, the Jimi Hendrix, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, blah 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 blah, Neil Young, all those stuff. So yeah.
My first introduction to hip hop was actually by my dad. He used to play
Okay.
Curtis Blow.
Oh, okay.
So Curtis Blow was my introduction to hip hop. And then in the late 80s, I heard someone play Run DMC, and that's where I started get like really like, how shall I say, identifying music that I like.
Yeah.
Like I would go out of my way to
Yes.
try and get that. So it was Run DMC, then it was like the LL Cool J that came and said with the mama said knock your ass off. I was like, yeah. And then it, then went into Public Enemies and then the NWAs and stuff. So that was my
Were you at-
start.
Were you
to
at the
actually-
I got you at the Public Enemy show, weren't you?
No,
You weren't there.
no. I didn't go to Public Enemies show. No, dude.
You must.
I got the full show.
There's one thing you must know about me. I'm not someone who likes to go to shows, like live shows.
Okay.
People come perform, my wife will be like, oh, what do you think I see? I'm like, for some reason, I get bored at shows.
Are you telling me all the times that you went to the chat sessions? You
I
were
was
like
just there.
forced. You were forced to
Well,
go because it's stereotype.
Stereotype, yeah. So I'm showing my face, and also they would say my name, so I was like, yeah, everyone's looking at me. No, I'm teasing. But so when you were performing, I was like bored. I'm like, yo, this dude must have off stage.
Oh no, he didn't.
No, to be honest with you, I enjoyed that because it was more intimate. It was
Yeah.
like an intimate setting.
No,
you know what I mean?
I
Small.
was actually gonna say, those chat sessions, I enjoyed those a lot
Remember that
because of the intimacy.
Yeah.
Those and whenever I performed at Zula, it was just like, and I can't forget, but it was more Super Dan. That was armchair theater.
Oh.
It's just that intimacy. When the venue becomes too big, you kind of like lose the connections with the audience, man.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
Shaq, I want to ask you. So when you create, do you listen to a type of sound and then try to? I'm not a producer though. Do you try and recreate that sound or that feeling, or how does it work? Because let me tell you this. I tried to produce, and I was happy that I've got this beat, and I'm excited. I'm excited about it, and I emailed it to Mr. Champ over there, Mr. Producer.
Peter.
Oh
The negative comments that it Brass said, no. But there were so many negative comments.
Broke you.
He broke me. The last one was, oh yeah, just so by the way, it's like 20 already. Oh yeah, and that vocal is out of key. And I'm like, what the fuck does it mean? Out of key? But later I discovered, okay, put the DJ software. But I've never touched it producing again because of.
I can't remember saying any of that. But anyway.
So do you mimic the sound, or is there a feeling involved?
I think, like to me, it's about feeling, and it's about certain rules that apply to certain music. While there are no rules in making music, you make what you like. But I mean, especially in today's time, there's a certain formula you need to follow. That if you're not following that formula, people's going to say, "Oh no, it's not mainstream enough." So, especially for radio, you need to give them what they're playing, give them what they are playing. It needs to fit in what the sound that they're playing.
Otherwise, they won't play it.
So if you take something like DJ Snake or something, there's a certain style to that kind of music. If you take give me another one that's similar.
DJ Mustard.
No, people like that. If you follow that, even Chainsmokers for that matter, there's a certain structure that you follow that's not really a normal pop structure in a sense.
Yeah.
The way I see it is that a normal pop structure would be, you got your intro, you got your verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus, maybe something like that.
Almost like the standard. It's like that's the standard.
Then you take something like Chainsmokers, for example, where I don't think there's a pre-chorus. It's going to be your verse, which is going to be very short, like a very short intro.
Yeah.
Short verse, hook to no beat. The beat is going to be kind of like a build-up thing, and then you're going to have a drop that's going to be your hook.
Yeah.
That has some vocal chops or something. So it's not really a chorus that's sung.
Yeah.
And then it's going to follow the same thing. After that drop, maybe the beat just drops away. The verse is done to no beat. Then you're going to have the build-up, which is going to be your chorus. I call it the chorus because that's going to be the hook everyone sings to before the drop.
Yeah.
Now, you see that structure is different. So before I produce a song, I listen. If I make something out of my own, I listen to a lot of music. So I listen to something on the radio, on Spotify, whatever. And something just catches my attention, and I listen to it a lot to be like, what is it about the song that I like? Is it they're using a live bass? Are they using funk guitars? Are they using a certain like 808s or whatever?
Yes.
Is it the trippy hats or whatever? So if I feel I'm going to make a track like that, I would listen to that song and get what the feeling is of that song and what I feel works in that song. Because to everyone, it's something different of the song that works. It could be the melody line, it could be the lyrics, it could be the beat, whatever. So for me, if I say that bass line works, and it's a live bass, so I'm going to try and program a live bass in my next song because I like the feel the feeling it gave me. So what I try and do is I try and replicate the feeling, in a sense, following a certain structure. So if I get that bass line, or not the bass line that I heard, but the same concept in a sense, where it's a live bass, there's slapping in it, whatever, slides and stuff. Yeah. I'm going to be like, okay, cool. Program something like that. It's not going to sound anything like that song, but it's the same concept. Live bass with the slaps and whatever. Yeah. Then, dependent on the client, I would then say, or usually before I produce, I'll be like, send me a reference of a song that you like, that you want to do. Because they would say, I wrote the song, can you produce it for me? And the reason why I ask for references, because I need to know exactly which direction they're going for. Because if he comes to me, and let's say he wrote a pop song, but he wants it to have a 90s hip-hop feel, right? The beat. But he writes the song and I hear something like Chainsmokers, and I produce a Chainsmokers kind of style of music. it's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
Because with one song, you can produce it in
In many ways.
infinite amount of ways. You know what I mean? So what I usually do before I produce a song is I'd listen to the references, and I'd usually ask for 4 references so that I don't stick to one. Because if I listen to one, more than likely your production is going to be almost like a copy of that.
Yeah.
Different melodies and everything, but it's going to be a copy.
Yep.
So 4 different references, and out of those 4 references, I find what's common or what works and what could work together. And I'll take that concept and I'll put it together with my own melodies, own drum programming and stuff. Yeah, that's basically what I do.
Okay.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah.
No, no, that
It
definitely
was a
answers the question.
long-winded answer.
No,
so
no, that
sorry.
answers the question.
Yeah.
Seeing that we're talking about production now, there's a lot of times that I find myself doing this. I know there's many others that probably also fall into this. Is that some people produce from a loop-based standpoint,
Yeah.
and then other people produce from a linear standpoint, in the sense that that's how the song balls. So they will start off with the intro and then the verse, pre-chorus, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So that's the main 2 ways that people will basically produce. With the loop one, they will like put a whole lot of sounds and ideas into it and then break it down into a song. But how do you, if you ever have production block, how do you get through that? Like, how do you get through, like, I've got a loop, but I can't now, I can't get the loop to the point of being a full track.
Track.
Yeah. How do you get past that?
I don't get past it. No, really, I don't. If I get to a point where it's like, it sounds good, but something's missing, and I can't get past it, I'll just leave it and I'll do something new, and I'll probably never get back to it. Because I just feel that if it doesn't, for me, if it doesn't flow, if it doesn't like just like, oh, I know what to do, I'm
Yes,
add
yes,
this, add
yes,
that,
yes, yes.
then it's gonna sound forced. And I've made a lot of beats in productions in the past where I know it needed something just to make it, and you try and you try and you add, and it's just not there, but you do it anyway,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't feel right.
So I shouldn't feel bad of like the
No.
many incomplete beats that I have on my
Not
PC.
at all, dude. Not
No,
at
no,
all.
because I think I feel you on that one as well. Because for me as well, it has to flow, and the best stuff that I have made is the ones that it's like the minute you start, you're on your way to finishing it
Yeah,
already, because it's like everything just flows. The sound selection is on point.
yeah.
You know, it's like not like you have to go look for sounds, it's like you literally know what's gonna come next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, sometimes you start a new production, like a new beat,
Yeah.
and you remember this beat that you started the other time. So you think a lot of that can work in this one.
Exactly.
So you take the concept of that, where you bring it into there, you change the melody to suit your new one, and then you're still basically kind of melding the two in a sense. So the other one doesn't go to waste.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do.
What's your viewpoint of the local music scene at the moment?
What local music scene?
Oh, you want the easy way out?
No. So you're saying local music scene? Are you talking about local, like Cape Town local, or
like South
Joburg,
Africa, like South
local?
Africa, the industry. Yeah.
Look, for me, I think it's
like production wise, I mean, like we can look at production like 10 years back.
yeah.
It has changed to a certain extent. Some people say it's become better. Others people say, well, it's a lot of cookie cutter. You know. So, what's your standpoint on production at this point? Like
South Africa or in
South Af-
general?
South
Okay.
Africa, yeah.
Well, if you say a lot of people are saying it's like cookie cutter, whatever, that's
Template based.
that's music worldwide these days. Like the pop scene, the dance scene, and so it's cookie cutter stuff.
Yeah.
That's your template. You just fill it in with whatever you want to fill it in with. But it's like I was telling you, the structure of the song, the rules of the music. What's the structure? So you're going to follow the certain rule. So if someone comes to me with another to produce another song that's also DJ Snake kind of thing, it's going to have the same thing. And the third person comes in with the DJ Snake kind of thing, is going to follow the same thing. Not that DJ Snake makes the same kind of thing all the time. I'm just talking about the time when he came out with, everyone was doing that thing when he,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
So for me, I feel because music has become so accessible in a sense that to be able to make music, anyone with a laptop can make music these days, and everyone with the internet connection will download cracked software. They can. It's easy. I mean, they can get it easily.
Yeah.
They'll see Skrillex is using that. Okay, cool. I'm going to download that. Get it anywhere.
Yes.
And it comes down. It boils down to your creativity or your imagination. Now, it's not about what equipment you don't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It all comes down to your creativity. In that sense, because everyone has access to the same equipment that's needed to make music, and you don't need expensive microphones, you don't need big studios anymore. You need the bare minimum to make good music these days.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, just based on that, the music industry in South Africa, sound-wise and so, has definitely got better, I would say. The style of music, that's an international thing, it's a worldwide thing. It's probably a bit irritating in a sense that, look, I'm open to it, I listen to it.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it's become almost the only type of music that's being put out there commercially. You know what I mean? You listen to every radio station, they sound like they're playing the same music.
Yep. Yep.
Like what happened to when it used to be that, let's say, Group FM, they used to play the hip hop, they used to play the pop, R&B, and so P4, Hot, they used to play more the jazz kind of stuff. KFMs used to play more. They used to play Afrikaans and rock kind of stuff. 5FM used to play a lot of rock and so.
Alternative stuff.
They don't do that.
Nope.
If you look across all of them now, 5FM, Good Up FM, Heart FM, KFM, they're playing basically the same playlist with a few changes here and there.
I think the reason it's not about the music anymore. It's just about the market share.
Selling
Exactly.
That's the problem actually. It's
So-
not about the music.
So that's what I'm saying. It's the music that people's being exposed to. Let's just say that, especially the youngsters.
Yeah.
I mean, to them that's music. You know what I mean? This mumble rap kind of stuff and all that auto tune kind of stuff.
Trap
But,
music.
and it's not bad. I said I love it. I will listen to it too, but I would listen to something else as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think we come from that kind of era, I suppose.
You want your plate with various
And
ingredients on it.
I think music is being dumbed down in a sense, internationally, not just in Cape Town. So that's why I say, when it comes to people making music, the standard of music, or the level of the industry in South Africa has definitely improved because of the access people have to the technology to make music these days. It's so easy to get by.
Yeah.
I think also for the longest of time, I've been wondering like what happened to. We grew up listening to a lot of rock ballads. The R&B industry, I don't think it even exists anymore. It's like who's dictating? I know there's playlist committees that now decide what gets played, but I think like there's whole genres of music that are fading away.
Yeah.
I mean, at Bon Jovi, like the likes of Guns N' Roses, things you just don't hear about these people anymore.
Are you going soft on us?
No, not being soft. I'm saying, but there's everybody. For me, myself personally, I've got an eclectic taste in, and my palette varies. So I'll do my hip hop, but also I'd like to go back and listen to Gypsy Kings or sample something of that. But I mean, you're not seeing very much on offer these days, and it's like, damn.
And it's not. We can't really blame the kids because, like with my son, I've got a thing for 70s music that I go back to, and when I play the Ray Charles, my son gravitates to it. He flipping sings that the same as I would sing the latest trap song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like Michael Jackson, still singing Michael Jackson.
Yeah, no, my life is a Michael Jackson cop as well. And like yesterday, I was playing the new gang song in the car.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I could see he was bobbing to it, and he asked me like, "Daddy, who is this?" And I said like, "Well, the amazing thing is the guy that's like rapping, he's actually dead, but that's like old stuff he recorded, and they put the music together." And he's like, "Oh, now can I listen to his old stuff?" So I'm like, "Yes, I'll play it for you." So you're right. It's like it's not the kids. We can't blame the kids because they will just like what they like. But I do feel like what you were saying when you were sketching the picture of in the 90s, this radio station played that
Yeah.
whatever. We had just more variation
variety, yeah.
to us to choose from. Now it's like just feels like there's one sound.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I hear what you're saying. Like, in the household, we'll play the music that we want to play. We can choose what we play and we expose our kids to it. They love it. I'm not saying that children won't love it. I'm just saying that, let's say, for some reason, they don't have access to Spotify or to music to choose their own, and they only have access to radio. They're only going to be, I'm talking about the music that's being broadcast out there. You know what I mean? It's only like such a limited amount of music out of a whole pool of so much new music that's coming out that they will be exposed to.
Do you think?
The thing is, we the reason why I would listen to hip hop and certain brands of hip hop and like the gangster rap, because the radio gave us that. You know what I'm saying? It was marketed. It was marketed to us. So now with the new lighters, they're being fed crap. The junk food type of thing. But you can't really blame. You have to blame the tastemakers.
And that's what I was going to touch on now. Is that the tastemakers back in the day was like certain DJs on certain radio stations, the club DJs and stuff like that. Those were the tastemakers. We never had access to a Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. We never had that. We had access to, like, you had to literally go to the CD store. That was your access. So, or then listen to the radio.
Or the cassettes.
Or the cassettes or whatever. So now, what I think has happened, and this is just my opinion, that because of the Spotifys and all those outlets, the radio stations at large, the corporations and stuff like that control them, have realized that, you know what, we don't need a tastemaker anymore, or there's no place for a tastemaker, because the person can pick up their phone, they can go onto those outlets and get those music and make up their mind of what they want to like and stuff like that, and appease their taste with that. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna play the Billboard 100 or the Billboard 40, whatever, because it is less risk for us. That's what it comes down to.
It's I know I could be so honest. If it's not the top 30 or top 40, whatever, then it's select songs that sound similar to what we play.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And just to be honest, or a bit of honesty is sometimes, in my experience, people are being branded as tastemakers. They are on committees where they shouldn't be, because with no musical history, with no, there's the only reason why you're there because you have a contract type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you've got free time type of thing.
Exactly.
That's just my personal experience of being in the industry, and without really saying what I want to say. But you guys get what I'm trying to say.
Well, we get what you're saying, yes.
Look, that's it also. With the type of music that's being put out there now, where we're saying, music's being dumbed down. Look, when we were youngsters, our parents would probably have told us the same. This hip hop nonsense, whatever, you know, all of these kind of things. So, I think the table is it's just how should I say? We kind of filled our parents' shoes now, and the next generation we're going to tell them, because they're going to grow up too, and their children, they're probably going to tell their children also what nonsense to listen to.
Thing is also,
back in my day, we had Lil Wayne.
but you see, the thing is also, you can't in the moment, you can't like realize how what's happening, so to say. We can now take the songs that we grew up with put it up against the songs that our parents were listening to, and then we can measure the quality of the song writing, the production, the mixing, the mastering, all that stuff, and then we can say like, oh, you know what, it might not be, let's say, as sophisticated as what they were listening to, but we're close on par. If our lighties now become the adults of generations to come, and they put theirs up against ours, I shudder to think that it's going to be on that level. It's going to be lesser.
But that's what I'm saying.
So no. But at least, with hindsight, we can see that ours wasn't that far off from what our parents were listening to. Because again, we were also sampling their records as well.
Exactly,
You
yeah.
know, so we weren't that far off. Now it's like, I mean, if you take mumble rap and whatever, just from a lyrical standpoint, doesn't hold any feather to what we were listening to.
For me,
It still made what we listened to still made sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like for the difference, I think, is if you look at Dr. Dre. Okay, if you listen to 70s music, you could see the bass player. You can follow his career.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Dre, he would bring in a bass player, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you don't get that. Like Mustard,
Yeah.
that's just him.
Yeah.
There's no. But I'm not speaking.
Session artist.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like what's his name? Kanye West.
Yeah.
He still brings in that guy. That guy. He's got Kenny G on his new CD.
Yeah, yes, I saw, yeah, Jesus is
Jesus
King.
King.
He's,
So that, I think that is lacking where every sound has got a master behind
yeah,
behind
I
it.
mean,
You know
like
what I'm saying?
sometimes Kanye, like I think I stand in the correction, but on previous albums, he like had like an orchestra.
Yeah,
Strings
that's
and
what I'm
stuff like that.
saying.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he wouldn't maybe even program it. He would like look at it from a standpoint of, I actually need a live orchestra on the song, whatever.
Yeah.
And you would bring that
Yeah.
in. But also that segues to a question that I wanted to actually, or a statement that I wanted to make about you and Jared working together. And that's got now full circle. Like you wanted to do that with Jared, with the Stereotype, and now you're doing that now. Is that we are starting to see more of a collaboration starting to happen within the music industry worldwide. Like you're having producers actually co-produce with each other, and it's not just one producer on the song. I think music was never supposed to be made in isolation. It was supposed to be made amongst people. That's why in the 70s or whatever, yes, they never had this technology, but you had to have live session musicians coming in. You had how many writers on songs, you know? So it looks like we're going back to that, and you doing that is also part of that process.
Okay. I like to work alone though.
Oh, burst my bubble! Burst my bubble!
But now just to follow up now, like with the advent in the decline in CD sales and obviously piracy, streaming, as a producer, how are you managing to sustain yourself, knowing that the actual physical sales of music or the downloads might not be that much? And stand under correction in terms of streaming is like paltry to what you're actually getting out.
Yeah, no, it's very little.
Does Samro in terms of royalties, is it worthwhile? Is it paying out regularly? Because I know there was one stage where we were exporting at least 80% of all the royalty payouts internationally. As a South African artist or producer, are you getting your mechanical royalties? Is it worthwhile? Because I know for performing artists, you need to actually go out and do the gigs in order to sustain yourself, because the record contracts don't exist anymore. The record companies most of the time don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So in this digital landscape, how is any aspiring artist or producer going to make money? I mean,
Look, as a producer, me producing music, while it's a passion of mine, I love making music.
Yeah.
I still think of it as a business, in a sense that when I produce music, any artist who comes to me, I'll tell them straight. I'll be like, when we produce a song, we're going to produce something that's going to be for radio. I'm not going to produce a song that's just going to be because we love to make it and put it out there because I'm trying to make a statement or something. I'm out here to try and make money.
Yeah.
I mean, look, not make money like I'm chasing money. I mean, I've got a family I need to see to. This is my business. So it needs to make business sense to me. So we will listen to what's current. We need to listen to it, which is why I'm constantly listening to radio,
Whether we like it or not.
seeing what's on the charts and so in the worldwide charts. Also, what's topping the charts and what's common in those things. Because if you get enough radio play, your Samro payments are. I mean, it's not.
It's not amazing.
Amazing, but I mean, it's quite a substantial amount. And the more songs you have playing on the radio at one time, the better that's going to be. So that's why I just try and focus on with Jared's album.
Yeah.
I told him that we're gonna do this album. We were gonna give the album away for free to everyone. Just take it, pirate it, copy it, put it out there.
I remember you telling me that. Yes.
The reason for that was the reason for that was
Yeah. Was.
is-
Was.
yeah. We were going to use this as a business card in a sense. Let's show people what we can do. And I also said where we will generate income will be from the royalties, the Samro payments and so. Because I told him every song that we're going to do on that album needs to be a potential radio single. So I said we're going to make an album of the radio singles,
Yeah.
which people don't really do. Albums back then, they would have an album and probably have 2 or 3 singles of the album because the single would market the album because people will go out and buy the album.
Because they still bought albums back then.
Exactly. So, and the thing is, we could just release singles too because people buy singles these days. They don't really buy albums.
Yeah.
But I said,
But your
Unfortunately-
upside looks better when you have an album full of singles.
Yeah,
Singles.
Aside from having an album full of singles, I said to have an album, period, is that there's this idea that people still have in the world that if you have an album, people start taking you more serious as an artist. Like if Jared never released an album, just singles here, single there, yeah, okay, cool. He's a good artist. He sings well, and so people will know him. But there's just something about having an album in your catalog. It's like, look, I have an album.
Because they would basically say like,
Exactly.
nice song, good radio song, but when is the album coming out?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I said, have it like that and have a great album. Because that way people's going to take you serious as an artist, more serious as an artist. That way we can submit it to be for the SAMAs, for
awards.
potential. And if you get a nomination, it's also good because there's a whole idea behind that if Perspeftif was SAMA nominated, you'd be
Get more gigs.
people will be like, oh, we need to book him for our
must be
shows
good.
because people, he must be good. Radio stations will see you differently. Other artists, like your industry peers will see you differently.
Yeah.
And even for me, as a producer, I'm not the face of the album, but people know that I produced it. So if they see, oh, he produced a SAMA nominated album, we need to work with him.
Exactly.
So that's why I say we use this as a business card. I eventually got it signed or licensed to Gallo Records.
Okay.
And the reason we did that is I told him, look, we were going to give this album away for free. We're going to send the singles out to radio ourselves.
Yeah.
Gallo is going to license this. They're going to get it onto Spotify. We can do that ourselves and so, but it's all cool. They can motivate for it to get onto playlists and so. That's a bonus. Then also, they're going to do some marketing behind it, but also they're going to do the radio sampling.
Okay.
So I said that's a big bonus because it would have, while I do radio sampling, not as a service, I do it just for my own productions and so, it'll just be a huge headache, like off my a huge weight off my shoulders if they do it, especially since they got a whole team doing it basically, you know what I mean? Send it out to radio. And that's why we licensed the thing. So that's why I said we do then an album full of singles so that we can send one song after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next, you know what I mean? And what I also told, what we also discussed is that while we're still going to be producing songs for Jared in the coming future, we're going to be writing and producing songs for other artists at the same time.
Okay.
Because think about it. Jared can't have 4 singles playing at the same time. It can if it was released over a certain period of time. But if we have 4 songs now, we can't send all 4 to radio and say playlist this and they'll play all 4.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And also doing that, the one could compete with the other one, and then you kind of don't maximize the runtime of the one song. So you're kind of
Exactly.
shooting yourself in the foot. So then you do one song for you, one song for this artist, one song for that artist, and you submit it all to radio. It's all different artists.
Exactly.
Radio stations don't care about who produced the song or who wrote the song.
Yeah.
They're just going to say, oh, it's different artists, okay, and it's good songs or whatever. Maybe there's more to it as well. But if it plays, then it's cool. So if you got so many songs playing at one time, and then it's time for the next single to come for each of those artists, you send again another lot like that.
Yeah.
By the time the next year rolls out and you get your SAMRO payments, it will be quite a
much
substantial
better.
amount. Yeah.
AKA does that same strategy in a way, where he features on a whole lot of, because he knows all his songs can't play on the radio.
Yeah.
So if he has a feature on, say, 3-4, and all of them are selected, then he's basically getting some money back. So it's a brilliant strategy.
So to answer your question also, look, that's the one thing, the SAMRO thing, which is like a passive income, I would say, and it's a long-term thing. For the more immediate thing, I mean, me as a producer, I charge for my services, which will be the studio time, the mixing, the mastering, and the actual like production, recording, and stuff.
1 million rand.
Dude, I'm not that cheap. I'm not that cheap. No, I'm teasing. But yeah, so I charge for my services. And I'm thankful and grateful that since I started this, like I said, played the stuff on Good Up FM, the remixes, people contacted me, then Tali Peterson want to do this, and then
KB
through the KB stuff. Since then, it's been basically people hearing my work and asking about me and getting my details to come work with me. So I'm thankful and grateful that I didn't have to go out and advertise my services yet, but I want to.
But that's the thing also, when I met you, it was around about the time that Jerusha song was playing a lot on the radio as well.
Yeah.
And wasn't she also, didn't she do something with Pop Idols or something? She was also on some competition thing that she appeared on. Anyway,
Can't remember.
yes. But long story short, that like ever since then, you've literally been like on the airways in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And when I heard that you done that, like I was amazed. I was like, oh no, so he's not actually like, nah, he's actually good,
Yeah, so now I can go talk to him. Super Dan.
Oh gee.
Yeah.
I just want to touch quickly because we get into the end of the podcast, but I want to touch on the film scoring thing.
Yeah.
Like by the sounds of it, you've taught yourself most of what you know.
Yeah.
Do you, if you maybe, do you have like any like I'm talking about like music production in general now. Or even like music theory, songwriting, composing, and stuff like that. Have you had any
formal training?
Yes.
None.
So everything is, so now when it came to the to the movie scoring as well, the film scoring, like that as well.
Yeah, it's all just I go by ear. So, and listen, as growing up, I grew up on movies.
Yeah.
And I loved my adventure, science fiction, action movies, and so yeah. So I like my big orchestral production, movie scores and so. And I think just kind of remembering all of that is I kind of feed off that, when I compose. Sometimes it's not about orchestral. Sometimes it's just like kind of textures and things.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when people think, oh, he knows what he's doing, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, does this work? Sounds cool. Feels right to the scene. Okay, leave it.
Yeah.
It's all about feeling, really, and it's not like people might think that Mr. Malam Ibrahim knows what he's doing. That it is like that. Like someone will come to me, produce a song. There you go. Here's your hit. It's not like that, People will come to me. I'll be sitting there like, what do I do? Yeah, you put a kick in the drum. I was like, oh, why is this kick not working? Going to the kicks and snares. I was thinking, sorry, this was totally random. I was just thinking, Shane, how many kicks and snares are out there in this world that never made it? That never made the cut in any production.
A lot.
That's been there for so many years, and they're just sitting there like, They never got picked. It's so sad.
No, it is. It is. Like, yeah. In closing, what's next for Mr. Malam Productions?
Gee, it's always hard to say what's next because I have so many ideas and so many things in place, but it never always goes that way. You know, tomorrow I might wake up and there's something else that happens, so I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
Then what I told you today just it's kind of a lie in a sense. But yeah.
Do you have any plans?
Yeah, no, I do. I've decided I'm going to do an album. But yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. Look, it's been coming on for years that I want to do something
like a Mark Ronson type of thing.
No. I'm gonna sing. No, I'm kidding.
No way to take him serious, man.
Yeah. He's the king of that dryness. He needs some revere in his life.
Yeah, I do. But yeah, no, I'm gonna do a producer album. I've been on and off. I've been on and off. I've been busy with it on and off for a long time, and of course, by the time I get back to it, it's like, okay, I need something new because that's old now.
Yeah,
it's just that because it's my business as well, that comes first.
Yeah.
So, and while the producer album will also be a good marketing tool, if work comes in, that comes first.
Yeah.
What else am I busy with? There's going to be some things that I'm doing with Jared as well.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, I'm gonna start making some beat tapes and stuff like that as well. You know, sell beats and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. You know, I'm gonna start a podcast with 4 guys. You know,
your album, is it gonna be multi-genre or just
it's gonna
specifically one?
It's gonna be whatever I feel sounds good. That's me. When I make music, it's whatever sounds good at the time. But it has to fit in. It has to fit in with what's working now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
not losing focus that it has to play on radio and stuff like that.
Exactly. Because it's gonna be pointless me making music I'm just gonna listen to in my studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, play to my son.
And then
like this?
Last.
No, go
do
for it.
Do you have any words of encouragement for up and coming producers that might be like, stuck at a certain point or whatever?
Stay out of my way.
I'll be like, tell me what your problems are. No, seriously, I'll be like, I mean, it depends.
Because you wanted to give up on music at one point in time. So there's others that's in that same boat now. What would you tell them? Or what would you tell you at that point?
Look, again, I wanted to give up on it. It wasn't, to be honest with you, I mean, look, people knew who I was at the time that I wanted to give up. I was still doing my business. I was still getting paid for other jobs and stuff like that. I think at the time I was just tired, and I was thinking, do I want to do the music thing or should I just stop? Let's either stop working and focus on music or stop music and focus on work.
Yeah.
Either one is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And to me, for some reason, it just felt like having a job would just be the easier thing to do. So it was more of that kind of thing. It wasn't like, I'm not making it in this industry. I can't cut it, whatever. I need to quit. So, but for people who want to quit, quit. Do it. Look, I don't want to say, I don't want to make it out like it's all rainbows and ice cream in the music industry, and like, because even for someone like me, that some people who know who I am might think like, oh, Mr. Malam, he's got it made, he's made it.
Yeah.
It's not the case. It's a struggle, really. It is.
Yeah.
Doing music full time in South Africa or in Cape Town, for that matter, is a struggle. You can make it work, but it's hard work, and you need to be clever in your approach. Try not to have one stream of income. Try and maximize your streams of income. In any way, if you're a producer, see what it is you can do. If you produce for artists, you can charge them for that. If you just have a mixing and mastering service, you can charge for that. If you
that's not me.
Hello.
Yeah, no. No, something like that. Find other ways, make beat tapes, like to sell beats.
Yeah.
Put it up onto Spotify, because Spotify is the number one place for people to search for beats, for to buy beats or whatever. So they're gonna search for lo-fi beats or whatever. They're gonna go through Spotify, listen to it, and each time they listen to it, it's a stream. So you're going to be earning, the more they listen to it.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that a lot of people click on your thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be earning, and also there's the potential of, while you're earning that through the clicks of people listening to it, and if you have tons of beats out there, the more clicks the better. While you're earning that, if someone still says they want to use it, so you get a placement, you get money of that too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Put together various styles of music, like let's say download ads from YouTube. Take the sound out, put your own music to it, build a little catalog for yourself. You know what I mean? So that when you go to people, go to clients, go to like ad agencies and stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
people who like make these ads.
That,
And say, look, here's my portfolio. If you need any music, let me know. Put me on your email list or something, so that I can also submit stuff that could potentially be used on an ad or so.
Okay.
Or alternatively, to find yourself a publisher, a really good publisher who can then get that work for you.
Yeah.
You say, look, here's a potential. Do you want to submit a song? They busy with an album, big album. There's an ad. Whatever company is busy with the summer campaign, this is what they're looking for. Submit. Chances are 1 in a million that you're going to get chosen, but it's always that chance. You know what I mean?
Do you have a publisher?
I do.
Okay.
With,
As Mr. Marlon.
He don't need no
He's
publisher.
the publisher.
I've got a publisher. So I think it was like a year or two ago. Yeah, just for 2 years now.
Okay.
I always never wanted a publisher, but I thought, let me get one and see how it goes.
And how's it going?
It's good, because every now and then you get emails saying that, okay, look, there's this album, there's that album, and it's worldwide. They're looking for this kind of sound, so if you got songs, if you got beats, submit. And you can decide if you want to submit or not, you know what I mean? But the nice thing is that they will bring you those opportunities.
Yeah.
If you have a good publisher.
Yeah.
And also, if you send it, you just send it to your publisher, and your publisher handles everything for you.
Yeah.
They'll handle the deal and everything. And just be sure that you get a publisher who's really open about what they do. Like, they're not dodgy.
Yeah.
My publisher's cool. Yeah.
Yo, Ibi, it was nice.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of gems. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, really.
Yeah, man, it's
When I got that call,
really
like,
nice.
you want to be on our podcast? I'm like, someone loves me.
Mama made it.
But yeah, keep in touch. Let us know what's going on. I mean, if there's something that you need to put out there, we can gladly get you back on the podcast again. We can talk
Yeah.
about other things. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, obviously.
Sure, totally.
But yeah,
Love
well, cool.
Yeah, this is our official last podcast for the year.
Yeah,
So we'll be seeing you guys in
You guys
2020.
really saved the best for last, eh?
Yes.
There we go.
Sorry, man, I had to do that.
So right, that's it from us, the Babbling Heads. Like we said, if you like the podcast, the content, click like and subscribe. Stay up to date. Somewhere down there,
Up there, wherever.
up there, wherever. All right, from us, wishing you a blessed Christmas and prosperous New Year.
Yeah, and a dope
Peace.
festive season.
Take
Peace.
this season.
Peace.
Punchi Keri.